Okay, sometimes I swear to God, I feel like the universe is just fucking with me. Like, I don't know, this is very triggering or something. I'll just give you a little replay. Hi, I'm Kelly. I am here as your spiritual enthusiast and life coach. I have been in denial of the woo world around us. I have not claimed it as being real my entire life. But as of 2020, when I decided it's time, I am here to coach you on my path to enlightenment, and I am here for you. It's just like, are you fucking kidding me? So now people who, to me, when I hear these people, oh, I've been in denial of this woo world, then it's like, to me, it is the same people who stood around making fun of me when I would say stuff, would laugh at me, you know? To me, it's like, oh, what the hell? So you want to be the expert on something you've been in denial with because you were too embarrassed that someone might make fun of you, but now you are an expert in the field? I don't know, I swear to God. To me, to my guides, I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me now? Are you fucking kidding me? So, you know, all day in my comments, oh my God, I'm so excited to see you. Oh, did you know your shadow band? I haven't seen you in months. Oh my God. And, you know, new people coming in all the time telling me how much they like my perspective, how much they appreciate my content, how much they, you know, look forward to hearing what I have to say and stuff like that. And then it's like, I don't know, like right now, yesterday, I'm still under account warning. I don't even know how long they just, whenever they did it, it was, I don't know, a couple months ago. And I thought that they even said that my account warning would be up 12/22, which that was still going to be like 6 weeks. It was like 6 weeks. I thought, oh, I must not understand this. It's fucking almost the middle of January and it's fucking still on. And then I did a video. What was that one? Yesterday. I must have done it a couple days ago, but I looked at yesterday because they did a count. They did community guidelines. They just take my videos down. They just take them off. And I can't even go in and watch them and see. Then I have to go back into my photos, figure out which one that they took it off and what was I saying. What? And, I have no idea. I can't even remember. It's never something that, I mean, the stuff that they take me down for it's weird. It's so weird. I can't remember what it was, but oh my God, that irritated me. You know, I have a video that I did yesterday, 2 back, 23 views, still, since yesterday sometime. I've got still those other ones in there, 23 views. It's like, oh my God. Like, I know the universe is what it keeps telling me, like, you know, don't you worry your pretty little head, it's coming. It's like, oh my God, this is irritating. Like, that's your people out there who are there to try and help you. People who call it woo. And I don't know why that irritates me so much. I just, in the beginning of 2020, when I was going on and listening to different people talk about what was going on, you know, when it's like, what's going on? What's going on? And you go in and that's back before they had taken down all those accounts. There was somebody that was going live and stuff. I just remember this one, when he was very political, very all this stuff. And then something started, with his spiritual side, I'm not sure. But he started awakening during that, and he kept being interested, but he kept calling it woo. He kept going, oh, the woo stuff, woo-woo, and all that stuff. And I kept being like, woo? Like, what? And then, you know, it's like, wow, that's just too crazy. It's woo, way out there. And it's like, this is my real fucking life, dude. And so then I thought that was weird. But then to see somebody who was marketing themselves as like and it's so weird how it's like they're spiritual, you know, it's like they're tinkering around with it. And they're going to tell you how to do it. It's like, what in the hell? And it just is for how long since the fucking beginning that I've been talking about this stuff, and how many people have, you know, I just think like, yeah, man, I don't know. It just rubbed me really wrong. And then plus how these people are all charging. I can be your life coach too. It's like, yay. Oh my God. But, you know, yesterday I kind of got in this back and forth with this guy because I hadn't followed him. There was something he said the other day, I think, that I thought, you know, was interesting. So I followed him, and then yesterday he was going off on MAGA people and, you know, you're so stupid, and try explaining warp speed then. You know, one of those, like these people who are in the political government and stuff, oh my God. Oh man, when they see themselves, whew, it's some ugly shit, man. But so I said, and there was no way, I mean, if you don't understand what I'm fucking talking about, dude, like there's no way that you can explain some of this stuff. Like you need to sit down with somebody and really like break it down and really explain it, you know, like they don't. So he's not going to understand at all what I was talking about. So I didn't think that he would, and I was not going to go in. There's not even enough space to go into all the detail to explain it to him. But so I just tried to do like a brief little thing that, as far as I was concerned, that whole thing was to bring something to the surface. Everything's to bring it to the surface, to bring it in front of us. And so that whole thing was, you know, like, look at our leader of our countries trusting these people. These people fucked over the leader of our country. They lied to the leader of our country that affected millions of people. I mean, I don't understand how people don't see that. Like, to think like he's in on it, and oh, he's playing a part. And then that guy's, oh, so it's okay just to kill millions of people so you can show the other. Oh, fuck. It's like, dude, I mean, I can't go in and explain all this. I tried to say a couple spiritual things to him, and I mean, he left the conversation just like laughing, like, oh yeah, LOL. It's like, oh, dude, I mean, man, you got a lot left to see. But, you know, they just all get so caught up in the 3D thing that's happening, and they don't look beyond that, like why it's happening or whatever. Just like that, I can't get that girl out of my head now with the woo-woo. And she's a podcast. She's a life coach. She's, you know, out there guiding people to their enlightenment or something. It's like, it seems like you should probably be working on you if you just all of a sudden woke up to the spiritual side of yourself, or just all of a sudden claimed it. Like, you were hiding yourself for all that time, but then you just slid real easily into like, hey, I'll show you how to get it done. It's just like, man, it's this world that is so upside down to me. It just doesn't make sense. And I don't know, maybe I'm being an asshole. I don't know. To me, it just seems strange. And that guy, like, you cannot reason, you cannot make them see the deeper thing that is happening on the planet when all they want to do is let's focus on what's on the surface. And then how much deeper and deeper it goes and goes. Because even to me, like, you try and explain something, the spiritual thing. I mean, then you're going into like the stuff that they show me or something is just like so much deeper, what people can even understand. Like I could say basic things and it's like, that's some crazy shit. Okay, you might want to go over there and talk to the woo people then. They might be on your level. I'm not sure. It's like, oh my God, I sound like such a bitch. Yesterday, my daughter, the one that just had the baby, she called. And she had the baby call. He was so cute. Oh my God, he's so cute. I cannot believe how old he looks so fast. And anyways, but we were sitting there talking for a while, and then it got into some, you know, some division kind of thing. There was one part where she goes, well, I don't want to talk about that because I know you have a different thing about it. Like you're gonna, it's like, yeah, we don't need to talk about that because, yeah, I don't look at it the same way. Like, she definitely looks at it as climate change is the thing, you know, and I should really, if I understood science better and climate change better, I'd understand that kind of stuff. But so we didn't go into any of those kinds of things. But it was something else. This is something to me that, like, it's frustrating, but it is like, I don't, at this point, I don't even think anybody can understand what my reality or my life is or something. Just like I keep trying to say, like, I see things so much different than other people. And I know that just by listening to people. But whatever it was, she was talking to me about, you know, oh, you need to hurry and come and get a place over here and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I'm like, well, you know, I've got this going on, that going on. And then she starts telling me how I need to, you know, if you're going to be manifesting, you need to be doing it. Okay. Well, I am manifesting. I have been manifesting. I'm always manifesting. That's how I live. So, but when you manifest, it doesn't go like what? And so then I kind of just like, okay. And so I said, something else, whatever it was, then it was pushing me harder. Well, you need to do this. You need to do this. You need to do this. And it's always like, but my guides would tell me do this, this, and this. And, you know, like I've got strong communication going here. And that's the part, like, people don't get. Like, why don't I listen to them? Why don't I do what they say? Why don't I do what this person says? Why do I just sit here and just seem so, you know, weird and like I'm just sitting back waiting and stuff like that? It's like, because you don't understand what I don't know how to explain it anymore. I don't know how to get people to understand. Like, there's fucking people talking inside of my head, telling me what to do, showing me and giving me direction, and I'm listening to them. And I don't understand. But, you know, it's just always like, well, you need to do this. You need to, like, what? And I just can't be anymore, like, you know, frustrated about, like, they don't get it. But so when she started telling me, you know, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do that. And I got kind of, I don't know, I guess I got snippy or something. And I don't remember how I said it, but it was like, you were just telling me what I need to do. Whatever it was, she was in denial that she was telling me what to do. Even though I need to think for myself. Don't just believe people online. I need to think for myself. Okay, gotcha. And I need to be on top of the things I want. I need to be actively doing certain things. Like I should be talking to the bank about getting a loan to do the floors and getting stuff done around here. I need to be getting this done, you know, it's like giving me this thing. Like I'm incapable of doing this stuff for myself or thinking for myself. And even she's like, I don't understand. You just get things all of a sudden, you just have them. And I'm like, yeah, that's, but there's a thing, there's a pace to manifesting, you know, this new spiritual, progressive spirituality, where it's like, well, I just ordered it, and it should be here in, like, oh, I'd say 10 minutes. There's the knock at the door. Like, that's not how it works. Like, I've been doing it. I think I know how manifesting works. Like, man, I get tired of being told how to do things that I've been doing. What? And then as soon as I was like, snap back, like, I don't need to be told what to do. Like, I don't understand why you think like that's okay, but you know, I'm not. Man, this is so foggy to be with the conversation. But anyways, then she was just like, well, I'm gonna go, you know, because she thinks I'm taking everything defensively. Like, I'm not just relaxed, you know, just, she cares about me, and she's trying to give me guidance. She's trying to tell me what to do, and I should just, you know, do it, you know? And then, and to me, it's like, I'm living the way, like, I don't understand why it is that, it's almost, I told my one daughter last night, I said, this has been on my mind all day long, but it's kind of like, you know, did I let y'all talk down to me all your whole lives or something? Like, you know, really trying to look at my responsibility in the thing. Because there is, you know, there definitely would be a responsibility. And I don't at all take it as like she's trying to be mean or something. I mean, and I don't think she has any awareness at all of that she's stepping all over me. Even when I say, you know, she's becoming defensive, thinking I'm just being defensive. But she's not seeing, like, you're putting me down, telling me I can't think for myself, that I just believe whatever anybody tells me. I've heard it a million times, that I'm crazy, all these things. It's like, I've heard this stuff over and over and over and over. Y'all have to see, like, that's, you know, go and tell somebody. And constantly tell me I'm crazy, and I'm doing this and doing that wrong. It's like, So, you know, you definitely have to be strong in your inner knowing. And to me, you know, like I said, I don't think she's trying to be mean or rude or whatever, but I don't think she's seeing herself. And I think that, you know, so much of this stuff that's going on is for you to see yourself. It's this world is mirroring back to you who you are. But as long as you're distracted by everything else, you're not seeing yourself. So she can distract herself thinking, you know, well, mom needs my help. You know, poor mom. She's a little crazy. She's always sitting around waiting for, you know, this or that or whatever. And so, you know, I completely can get where she's coming from. So I'm not going to be like, ah, fuck that. But it just is like, I don't know, you just go through your thing, being someone seen, someone heard, and listening to other people just talk a bunch of, it's like, man, this place is hell. It is absolutely this, man, it's like so hellacious. Like, oh my God. And it's not like I need to be out there, you know, talking, having everybody hanging on my every word, but people who are telling me all the time in my fucking head, then, you know, they definitely, to me, like when I think about like their thing, like how they've shown me for sure, you know, that they have all this stuff they want me to say and explain, even stuff like this, you know, it seems stupid or whatever, but stuff like this, and it's not for my own personal thing, but it's like when you hear someone else's story, things click into your own relationships, your own reality. And then it's like people talking and using their words to express. At this time, when people go in and listen and they're in that thing of healing, then you can relate to something, and it helps you to see something in another perspective. So I'm not trying to say any of the stuff to be like an asshole. I'm just trying to say the stuff so you know, look at things, you know, think about things in your own relationships and stuff. You know, don't play the part of, you know, going against your inner self. Like that one girl, you know, she says that she was all into that stuff, but stayed in the closet her whole life because she didn't want to be, you know, thought crazy and weird. And so, you know, I've been thought crazy and weird my whole fucking life. And so, whatever, I mean, that's something, you know, everybody needs to look at that. Like, man, what am I hiding for? Who am I hiding from? Why am I hiding myself? You know, who am I trying to please? Like, big fucking deal. How many times I've had people call me crazy, or the one that just keeps sticking out in my mind over and over is the most recent one where it's the most recent one I can think. I mean, I've, over the past 2020, you know, being around new people and stuff like that, like I've definitely been crazy. But this one was a friend, like, that I had worked with. I mean, I had done lots of stuff, worked with her, you know, we were friends. We worked in the ER together when I very first started. I was an ER tech and she was a nurse. And, you know, she would always tell me things. Like, she was kind of real, kind of dry, kind of uptight a little bit. But then when we would go, she was the one who was like, let's go jump out of an airplane and stuff. So, you know, that was kind of like the persona or something that she put on to keep it capped or something. It seemed like, I don't know, but anyways, we went out to lunch, and I'd already got my brain injury. I'd already gone through my healing, and I was already on the thing of the awakening. I was already seeing all of this stuff. That's when I was already getting into the Reiki, the yoga, the tarot, all that stuff. And so I was out to lunch with her, and I must have been talking, I know I was talking to them about the aliens and the aliens coming, and that I don't remember what I said because I don't know what all stuff I knew in 2015. I mean, people act like 2020 was just the start of all this. It's like, no, it was not just the start. It was just one of the parts of the process. But there was a lot of people who were waking up way before 2020. 2020 was clarity. That was like, that totally was clarity, to see how manipulated our reality is, and then to see like how much of it's all based on greed and perversion. Like, it's fucking weird. But when we were out to lunch and I started talking some about the aliens or whatever, I've done it to quite a few people around that time. And, you know, people would just be like, oh, but, yeah, and she was just like, got so weirded out. And then she was just like, okay, well, you know, I got to go, never talk to me again. You know, but I had a lot of people who were just like, you know, I mean, I kind of got used to people just thinking I was weird. I was like, okay, you know, you cannot let it bother you. You know, to me, you got to, enjoy your weirdness. One thing that is really was standing out to me, this was weird. I keep having this happen over and over, but this is weird because I have one granddaughter. I have a bunch of granddaughters, but one granddaughter who, she's like almost 6 foot tall. She's got blonde hair. She looks like a fashion model or something. You know, she's got like this perfect eyes, perfect mouth, like everything is like very sound. And then lately on TikTok, I started noticing like, oh my God, this girl looks exactly like her. This girl looks exactly like her. This girl looks exactly like her. And started seeing like, oh my God, this is like a template. Like, all these girls look exactly alike, and their personalities are kind of alike. And I was like, man, that is so strange. And that just kept sticking with me, you know. And then it was weird because then when I was talking to my daughter yesterday, she started talking about that, and about how that granddaughter, how she wants to be that way. She wants to just fit into like this template. She wants the same shoes as that one, the same shirt as that one. You know, they have like this identifier persona that they're basing who they are on it or something. But it's weird because the ones I saw doing it, how much they all actually looked alike. But I guess, you know, when you go color your hair, put on the lashes, you know, put on the lipstick and all that, and you're going to all kind of have that same look. But it was so strange. And then I saw another thing talking about, I saw another person doing a post about, isn't it weird how it seems like there's starting to be like groups of people that just look alike and act alike. And I was like, that is so weird. Somebody else saying that, because then that's the, you know, it was me, then my daughter, then this other one, all within like 12 hours saying the exact same thing. But this keeps happening to me over and over and over and over and over. I'm not shitting you. I go on here and say something, you can bet your ass I'll go on TikTok and there'll be 1 or 2 people saying the exact fucking thing. It's weird. I don't know why this is bothering me. I just have to move it. Hold on. God, I'm so weird. Just had to move it a couple inches. It's the thing that I put my feet on. I have no idea why, whatever those things are called. You know, when you sit in your chair, you put your legs up. I saw, so in the thing, when you think about like all this stuff is going on, and, you know, I mean, it's definitely working on the awakening, you know, it's, you know, other people's own loss that they can't see the spiritual aspect of what's going on. To just sit there and think it's, oh, it's just the government. Oh, it's just the medical. Oh, it's just this. It's just that. It's just this in our system is failing. It's like, dude, the whole fucking system's blowing up. You best let go. And there sure is a lot of, like, I don't know if they're the spiritual progressives or whatever, but, you know, saying, like, everything's about to end. It's going to be over. Some people are going to, you know, go for the other thing. And then some are just going back to their home planets. And some are just going off to other realities or something. So, I don't know. But I'm sure seeing a lot of people saying that stuff, like, all of a sudden lately. That something about the one guy who was talking about, like, the simulations can suddenly just go off. And then, I don't know. And I don't know where some of the people get their information. And I don't know if that's going to be what it is. I mean, I've said for a long time, it's going to be like the lights go out or the lights come on. It's going to be a dramatic thing. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be mass death or whatever. I mean, I know there's going to be mass death for sure. Like, I'm sure that there already is. But in some of the videos I'd seen in Northern California, like right now, it's like, oh my God. But I knew that was coming. Man, when I drove through California on that road trip, I just felt it. I just felt like, man, this place is going to get fucking hammered. And it was something with the chaos of the people and the energy. And just when I was sitting on the beach and just listening to him talk and how fucking shallow, how, like, just so shallow. And his soul is not shallow. So I was like, man, some bad stuff's going to happen here because they have to wake up. And then when I was driving, and you could just feel the chaos. And then with the chemicals, like, I knew it was like so many, and they had the towers so cranked up. It was insane. So, and how, you know, I mean, with the towers all cranked up and that much fucking pollution, and people in California, they've been dealing with that goddamn pollution for a long fucking time. Like, they've been breathing that shit in. Like, man, you would just think there would just be so many people who would be so sick and stuff. And, but they must just get used to it. Like, that's just life there. I don't know, because I couldn't believe it. How, every time I drove past one of those things, my eyes started burning, like, so bad. It wasn't just like a little burn. No, it started burning. It started making my eyes, like, roll around, like I got sprayed with bear spray in the eyes or something. And then they would just start pouring. And I couldn't see, you know, and be going down the freeway going like 85 with a million people like next to you going 85. It was like, oh my God, that was a rough fucking drive. It was so crazy. Either going through mountain passes, which is rough as fuck, or, you know, that kind of driving. And there was a lot of driving on that. But it really gave me confidence in my skills again. Because I used to be, I always liked driving, even when I was young. And I was 16, and I would go and drive way out, because we lived in Dallas, and I would drive out to McKinney to hang out with all these car racers and stuff like that. It was just like a whole group of people. And so I would drive out there, and my dad, because my parents were already divorced, my dad would pay my gas card and stuff, and he would get so mad. It was like $10 or something. But, I mean, incomes were less, but still, he had money. It was just about control and stuff. But, I mean, I'm 16, but, I mean, there's a reason I was the way I was. So, but I would drive out there, and it was like, I think it was like an hour or 45 minutes each way, which, that was weird. Like, most of the kids that time, they would just go down. Like, I lived right off of Forest Lane, and that was like the big strip where all the kids would go and hang out, and then also would go to drive-in theaters, and all the kids would hang out and walk around, and it was really fun. That was fun times. Like, there was so much more freedom and fun back then. Like, kids miss out on so much. I just can't wait till things turn around and kids get to have an experience to just go out and just be free and go out and have fun and, figure out who you are. And, I mean, that was fun times walking around the movie theater or the drive-in theaters back then. And I swear to God, like, why did they take them all down? They were such a big thing for so long. Like, it was such a meeting place, but it's like in the 80s or something is when they started restructuring and creating this new way of living. And it even makes me think, like, was a lot of the kidnapping and stuff that they really started, like Johnny Grosh and stuff like that, and Adam and stuff, like all of that kind of stuff started going around the same time. Like, I don't know, it was like this whole like crossover, like we were living this wholesome kind of, I mean, even if it was very controlled and I mean, it still was, but then they just took it in such a dark way. They just took it so dark, because I mean, life wasn't bad back then. I mean, parents were, in the 60s, parents were, kind of, definitely the do you know where your children are kind of thing. They were just kind of into their own friends and stuff. Like, parents were a lot more, like, kids had their place and parents had their place. It was just different. But that was also kind of a relief for the kids, because you didn't have your parents up your ass all the time. And yeah, you go get into trouble if you were one of those kind of kids who just wanted to be in trouble all the time, or, like, we would get ourselves into, like, dangerous things. But, I mean, I was rescued by my friends, but it would be like going down a hill and then slam yourself into an electric barbed wire fence. Or I always that one where we were out there walking on some kind of thing, and I fell off that cliff, and they were holding me and pulling me back up. That just traumatized me, and I don't even know how far down it was. It felt like it was like miles down. But, I mean, and kids die, kids do die, but life becomes so different when you start realizing you're here to experience, not to control it, to experience it. So anyways, that, one of the things in the Northern California one that I saw this girl, that's why I'm saying, like, people are waking up, this is working, is because of, she was completely horrified. She was traumatized. It was after the first storm. The second one, I think, starts today, and the third one on Wednesday. Like, this week is supposed to be their worst week. And if you've seen the footage of what already has gone down, it's like, fuck, man, it's fucking, oh, it's so sickening. And then it's just like, man, it's about to hit here too. Like, what has fucking Inslee got up his sleeve for us? Fucking Newsom and fucking Pelosi, pieces of shit. So she was saying she had moved from New York. She moved to San Francisco and a couple years ago, I think since 2020 or something. And then, so she had been in San Francisco for a year and a half or whatever. And then she moved out to rural. And she wasn't in Humboldt. She wasn't Sacramento. I can't remember. She's in one of the places that's very affected. I can't remember which place. And so but she said she lives rural and she doesn't know anybody. I was like, girl, I fucking feel ya. I know how weird it is to move someplace and then not know people. And even if you have like a friendly conversation, it's like, it's still, you don't know them. You're not friends. You have no, like, you haven't hung out and done things over years and stuff like that. It's new people. And so, she said, you know, she didn't really know anybody. And then she's only been out there a few months or something. And then the storm started. And then she lives alone. And she had no power. And everything is just water. She was not prepared at all. She said she was not prepared. She had been living off of like beef jerky and wheat thins or something for like a week. She had no food. She wasn't prepared at all. She said she had no idea. She didn't see it coming. Nothing. And I was like, this is exactly why there's certain places that are being hit really hard, is because the whole collective of the area is not paying attention, kind of like where I'm at, which is always like, oh, guys, I know what's going on. And so she was very traumatized. Like, she was freaking out. And she was on there being like, you know, I don't even know what to do. I'm so scared. This is the scariest thing I've ever gone through in my entire life. So she does this whole video of how scared she is and she doesn't know what to do. And she's completely stuck. She's done several more updates now. And she didn't have power for a week. And so everything in her fridge had rotted and all that stuff. So she had no way to cook even. And there was no, like, everything was just a mess. She said, like, you can't even believe how fucked it is. So then, in the comments, all these people started telling her what to do, how to do it, you know, got her all prepared. Plus, then she felt like she had people who were there with her. She didn't feel so alone. So she got really excited. Her whole attitude changed. It was crazy how much her attitude changed. Like, her whole persona. And so then she, a neighbor had said, let's go to the store because the next storm is coming and we're not even going to be able to get out at all. And to go 10 minutes, I guess it takes like an hour because you have to, there's trees down across streets. There's flood waters everywhere. It's like, it's really hard to get around. And I've heard that from a bunch of videos. So she said it took several hours or something to go to the store, get their stuff, and get back. And so she said she feels more secure. But she was asking people, you know, do I just leave? They said the storm that's coming today is going to be way worse than what we've already had. And the water's already so high and stuff. And she's like totally freaked. To me, it's like, stay in your shelter. Like, you don't want to be out stuck in the road somewhere. Like, fuck that. That'd get you killed. Like, I would stay inside my shelter and, you know, just figure out what comes. Like, I've thought about it a lot of different times. Like, okay, so if it fills up with water, you know, what will I do? You know, which it'll be a lot harder to fill mine up with water. They'd have to go pretty deep because we're on a hill from the valley. And usually, even when they had the floods, and my yard was pooling and stuff, it kept going down. It kept going. So, I mean, I think it would have to go pretty fucking deep to go up through my house. But that doesn't mean, like, my porch won't come off the house and all that shit. So, anyways, it still seems safer to me if you have some sort of shelter than to be in a car that's, like, much smaller. And a car can be taken by that water. Like, there's a lot of people in footage in the cars being drugged down as the rivers are rushing them. And then in the rivers, when they're rushing and they're coming like that in these floods, they have huge trees in the water. So those big trees that are flashing around, you know, slamming into your car and stuff, like, fuck that. No, I mean, but I've seen footage where trees are falling on houses, cars, on in the streets, everything. It's you know, somebody was showing the footage of the wind. It's just so creepy when you have such giant trees blowing in the wind. Oh, man. And I saw, where was that? It was, might have been Sacramento. And it was a giant tree that was blown down across the street. And so it was just blocking the street. It was like nobody, like here, they're on top of that. When the tree goes down across the street, maybe because they're so used to it, they just run out with saws and just saw the tree. And then you still have the things on each side, but they just clear the road by sawing the tree out of the way. So, I don't know. That guy was talking about it had been there all day. It's like, well, somebody's got to saw and saw. Like, can't roll the tree. And even, like, as I have those bottoms of the trees in my yard, 2 of them. And even when I had the 2 giant trees come and get cleared when I first moved in, they said those are really hard to move. And that he was showing theirs. It was huge, the bottom of the tree part. And I wasn't sure if he was saying it looked like it was like they had done it on purpose. I know they're doing this shit on purpose. But the bottom of the tree, like that is a hard thing to move. Like that might be sitting there for a while. Like they're big and they're heavy. So I don't know. But in order to get the road clear, you have to do it. And they don't have anybody to come out and do it. Like, people are going to have to step in to certain roles. But that is the community coming together, and that's why, you know, some of this stuff is going to keep happening in certain communities. And it's going to keep happening all over the place. But, you know, there's certain things that whole communities are learning together. Like I've said, like I just saw Brazil is like... It's gotten, the people, it is, seems to be like a civil war with the government or something, and they've taken over the capital. And it was like a lot of, you can look up the footage about that. And then also Wednesday in Iran, and they're doing the same thing. They're going against, and the guy who I saw explaining it was telling people, okay, you need to make sure you wear goggles or glasses. Do not wear contacts, because if you, whatever they do in your eyes, the contact, whatever, you need to wear the glasses to block this stuff, or goggles. And you need to wear a backpack on your back, but wear it tight, because that will block the shooting stuff too. Like, he was going through this whole thing to get people prepared. And they're going against their government. Like, they're all going to the streets and going against, they're all willing to die for it. Same with, so the same in all the places. It's like, what is freedom? What is life if you're completely controlled and you have no freedom? Like, what is the point of it? Like, just so I can sit here and be your slave and be controlled by you? And so there's places where, you know, people are like, hell no, I'm not doing it. So we got there. I mean, there's a lot going on all over the place. And there's more stuff too with the banking thing. What was that? There was another thing too with let's see, that lady with the storms. Oh yeah, how many I keep seeing. Oh my God, this is so bugs. With the people waking up to, oh God, man. And it, man, I knew it was going to be a lot of kid stuff. Like, that there was going to be, you know, like the thing that was going to be the hardest, it was going to be the thing that was going to wake them up. So people get that for themselves, but then they get it for their kids, and then their kids. And there's so many more that are going down publicly. Like, I saw this other news clip. It must have been some local news, and the woman's out there on the streets talking, you know, to the newscaster at the desk. And the news person on the street, I don't know what was happening right before, because the one on the thing's like, oh, okay. And she's like, okay, sorry, the one on the street's, okay, sorry, I'm just feeling just really weird. And it cut away from her really quick. And then somebody was showing that then she was also on Facebook showing, you know, how excited she is that she's 3. And it seemed that she was showing a pregnancy stick. And so I don't know if she was saying that's why she was dizzy. Like, I wasn't really sure what they were saying in their video that they were showing. But, you know, it's more people out in public, you know, on the TV or something, and start getting all like falling and fainting. It's like, I've seen way more clips of more sports people, because it's like one thing that didn't catch your attention, that didn't draw you in, then it'll be a whole bunch. It'll be more and more and more. That's why I said it just has to get more and more absurd. More and more absurd, and even the most absurd shit doesn't catch some people's attention. You know, some people are willing to accept anything. They're just, I don't even know that they pay any attention. I think they're so distracted in their own lives, they're not even fucking paying attention. Because this shit is so fucking absurd. But I keep seeing clip after clip of people going down on fields and stuff. Even that same night that the one guy, I've seen a whole breakdown too on that ambulance. That was not an ambulance that picked him up. It was like a U-Haul painted. Like, when you see the thing of it, the lights were, everything was wrong. It's like, okay, so that is the same kind of shady shit that they're doing all the fucking time. At the same time, that guy went down, another guy from another team died on for the Jaguars, and he really died. The other guy woke up, but then it's like, man, you don't know if that's really they can tell you anything. Who knows? How do you even know where the fuck he is? I mean, they tell you all the time, Joe's at the White House. So, you know, that guy go to a cloning center. He was dying, but they need to, you know, it's not convenient. So they'll just clone him real quick, grow another one, and then put him back out on the field and tell everybody he's good. Don't worry about him. You know, but it's just so much manipulation. I saw a video yesterday. This one was so funny because there's so many stuff talking about Joe and the masks and the weird, just a whole bunch of stuff. People just, I don't know. It's kind of like when people all of a sudden realize it, and then they just start putting all these faces up of Joe, like, look, that's not him. Look. And so this one was, it was like somebody had put the mask on, you know, pulled it on, but they didn't get it pulled right. And so it's like the eye part were kind of like this. And so this whole part is kind of pulled up like that, and he's kind of like this. And it's so funny looking because when he's talking, it looks so weird. And people were like, well, what's wrong with his face now? I think they did it on purpose. I think they left the mask jacked up just to get people to keep noticing, like, something's off. What's wrong with his fucking face? Because it's so weird looking. And it is definitely, you know, all this stuff is to wake people up, to get their attention. So we can stop this, like, hearing about 6-year-olds having heart attacks. And it's like, oh my God. And then people, it's fucking sad because people just really don't know, and they don't fucking get it either. Like, even when they say shit, oh, please, everyone, pray for my child. Just suddenly had a heart attack. We don't know what's going on. We're so confused. The doctors don't know. Please. It's like, oh my God, how many fucking stories for the exact same thing? You guys, what do you think is causing this? Like, man, so frustrating. So hard to watch people wake up and not see. And it just, oh man, there's a lot to this. It's just really, just the ego, arrogance of people who have hidden themselves their whole life, who now are going to lead people down the path. And then, cool. You're going to claim your God-given right to be a spiritual being. That's great, but, you know, you still, I don't understand how people just immediately, you know, I'm going to go make money off of other people who want to wake up. So I'm going to go charge them to tell them, I don't even know. What are you telling them? Are you telling them what you did? Have you healed? What are you explaining to them? Like, what crystals to buy? How many times to meditate a week? Like, I'm not sure what you're coaching these people on. I've heard some really weird stories of people paying all this money. Like, even with this, somebody charging, they're going to teach you how to read the Akashic records. It's like, oh, my Lord, have mercy. And the people who get all like, yeah, well, I woke up and now I'm going to go read the Akashic records. It's like, what in the world is going on here? Like, oh, man. The spirit and the ego together, man, that's some nonsense. You know, you got to get that stuff in balance. You know, I like, maybe I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about, because I'm not talking to people that don't understand, like, how you're perceiving like that. Like, how you're seeing. Like, I don't understand how you just, all of a sudden, you wake up and you think like you're an expert. You know, you wake up and 5 minutes later, you're telling everybody else how to do it, when to do it, where to do it, and what to do when you do it. Like, I don't know. I don't know. But to me, whatever. I'm just going to keep putting out the stuff they keep telling me to fucking say. And whatever, you know, whatever is going to happen is going to happen. You know, if this world is going to be led by, that's, you know, whatever. Go on your spiritual journey with people. Maybe that's the way it's supposed to go. They're supposed to go and nobody know where they're going, and just don't, maybe they just take turns leading each other. Like, I don't know. Like, this is so strange to me. Like, I don't know. It's very strange. Yeah, I just don't even know. It just is very strange. This whole thing. I don't understand how people are so cut off from themselves. Like, I don't know how. I mean, I can tell people, like, what my experience is, so that they can try and, you know, make contact with their own experience. Because I definitely think that this world beats you down if you are listening to, I mean, even listening to your gut. You'll get, you know, laughed at. Like, you know, I don't understand how you cannot listen to your gut. I can't go against mine. I don't care how many people tell me how I need to do things or what I need to do. If it's not what my gut is telling me, I'm not going to do it. I'm only going to do what my instincts guide me to do, and where they tell me to go and what they tell me to do. And they're always talking. That is what I don't get. Like, I really don't understand how other people process. Like, and to me, like, they're always talking. It's like some people just aren't listening. And then maybe, you know, some of these people are just all of a sudden waking up and they have really strong intuition, and their intuition is telling them, you know, you need to do this, you need to help these people and stuff like that. And they're really trying to do good works. And my frustration just comes because, you know, I'm so silenced, and it's frustrating. It's super frustrating. And I get, like, it's for a purpose. I get, like, there's a reason why things are playing out the way they're playing out. You know, it's just so strange that, you know, I can understand some things that people don't understand, but then my voice is the one that is quieted, and the other people have to keep stumbling around. There's a reason, there's a purpose to all of it. You know, just because I don't understand it. It's just weird when they give you such a desire and drive and, you know, harassment, seriously, to keep talking and to keep telling the things that they want, you know, told or talked about or whatever. And I know, like, different people have different roles and stuff. And I personally think that there's a whole bunch of us that they tell the same thing to, because it's weird how I'll go on and I'll hear somebody say something exactly the same thing that I just said. It's like, that is so weird. And so I think that it is like you tap into a certain vibration, and then, you know, we're all kind of getting the same kind of information or downloads or insights or whatever, like around the same time. And so, you know, I know that that's real. Like, I know that that is, there is constant communication. I just think that the biggest problem with people is they don't trust themselves. And, you know, and I just like how that girl's like, you know, you live in fear of people making fun of you. So you hide who you are. And then, you know, to go out and start claiming who you are is a big step. That's what she was talking about. To go out and claim herself was a big step for her, because she had kept hidden who she was or something. And, you know, that is a big step. And that is stuff that you should share, because other people need to learn the same thing. Like, to step into their own power and claim who they believe themselves to be, and trust their own instincts, trust their own gut. And you don't have to be like everybody else. As a matter of fact, you want to be different. As far as I'm concerned, I don't want to be a template. Like, you know, I don't want to be like anybody else. I want to be just me. I would rather people not copy me to be like me. I would rather just be me and them be them. And I completely get that as conscious beings that people are trying to understand who they are. And so they kind of need that. Oh, well, I like that, so I'll be like that. Oh, I want to be like that, so I'll be like that. You know, it's kind of as a way to help figure out who you are. Like, that is a part of the development of consciousness. So there's nothing wrong with it, you know, to want to be like, oh, I really like that role model. I like that template. I like how that looks. I like what they're doing. And so to go and try and figure out who you are, but the whole purpose is to still figure out who you are. So no matter what, you got to not just be, you know, a mannequin or, you know, just a product of a template. You have to also figure out, like, who you are at your core. Because we are all very different. Like, in the real natural world, we should all be as different from each other as our DNA is different from each other. There's all these little tiny things that make us very unique from one another. And so that should reflect in our being when we go out. We shouldn't be trying to be like other people. And that is all based on trying to please others and be accepted by others. And that is a part, to me, that you have to break free from. Like, you don't have to be accepted by anybody. You only have to be accepted by yourself. Even if everybody else thinks you're crazy, if you think you're fine, then who gives a shit what other people think? It's their limitations that hold them caught and restrains them in their own perceptions. And, you know, it's a complete, your perspective and your perception can be a trap. Like that, the other night when they were showing me about the earth and the lens and the reflection and the aspect of being able to see yourself, which this was really cool. This was interesting. This was a girl, and I don't know where she was at, because the video, she was at a thing. It could have been a party, but it seemed like it was a place where there was a lot of people. So it wasn't like a party at someone's house. It would have been like a, you know, like a, not a club kind of party, but it was kind of like a science fair, but not like a science fair, because the people all seemed partying. But so something like that. But anyways, this girl is walking in with this guy, and this other guy has a camera, and so he starts, and he has these mirrors, these big giant mirrors that are next to him. And so she walks up, and right in front of her is a big reflection of herself. And so he starts talking to her and explaining to her. And this is weird too, because this is another one where I just seen another video talking about this. And then I saw another video talking about this. Then I saw this one. And so she was looking in the mirror, and he was explaining to her. And then, so there's 2 mirrors. And so one of them, and something about how our lenses of our eyes flip things to be the other way. And I think it has all something to do about like this whole flipping, the pole shift, this flipping of seeing things with our eyes being upside down. It's something that's distorted our vision, our view. And so she was looking in the one mirror, and he said, this one is how you see, This is one that shows you how you see. Your reflection is showing you how you see. In the other mirror, and I don't know how it's done. He was kind of trying to explain it or something, but it was just a clip out of this video. But the other mirror, it was strange, because it was something about your eyes, something about your eyes and the reflection or something. I don't know. You'd have to look it up and try and understand how he was explaining it. But in that mirror, you see yourself how others see you. So it's flipped. So you see yourself like on here, if I'm looking, like my mole is on this side in here, but like my mole would be on the other side. So when I'm looking in the mirror, see, I'm going to see it on the wrong side. But when somebody's looking at me, they're going to see it on the right side. That seems the easier way to explain it. So anyways, in the one mirror, she sees things how she would see it. So she would see her mole on the wrong side. But on the other side, in the other mirror, she sees how people see. And so it was, she could see her reflection, what other people saw, rather than what her eyes had to twist it so she can see it. She was seeing it in the more natural, raw state of what other people see when they look across at you. And it was so trippy because she literally looked different. And it wasn't like she looked like way different, like a different person or something. It was just different. Even her eyes looked different. That's what he kept saying. And then she kept being amazed. Like she couldn't even stop looking. And just the whole way her face was just like, what? This is what people see? This is who they see? And it was like she all of a sudden saw herself as being so beautiful. But it was also something, it's with your eyes. And so it was a whole thing about your eyes. And that is what the other videos I had seen, these people doing these things about the eyes. And then on top of, you know, what they were trying to explain to me about the eyes and even the reflection, how it's a portal and stuff like. But so when she was looking at herself, her eyes looked like, it was weird because they looked more alive, more brighter. But the guy was saying her eyes are interacting with that mirror thing. It was weird. And you could tell, like, when she would look at herself, she saw herself as one way, but then when she looked and saw how others saw her, then you could see, like, wow, you know, I'm pretty. Look at how good I look. Wow, and my eyes are so bright and cheerful, and my smile is gleaming. Like, you know, it was trippy how she was just amazed by her own reflection. It's like you're seeing the reflection, and that has always been something that has tripped me out. Like, and I think I've talked about it before. It's so weird because even when you look in the mirror, you don't really see yourself. Even when I look on here, you don't really see yourself. You see lighting, you see, you know, all different kinds of things, and it's a flat surface. So to imagine seeing what other people see. But I did have that one experience that one time. I think they've done it a couple times, but that one was really profound when I was walking through that field that day. And all of a sudden, I wasn't walking in the field. I was up above me watching myself walk in the field. And so I did see myself. I didn't see my face close up, but I could see myself from further up. And it was weird because I was like, oh my gosh, I look I can't remember. I think I thought I looked skinnier than I thought, like in the reflection. When I saw myself walking, I was like, I think I look skinnier and taller than I thought I looked before. But it's weird because you really don't have any kind of perspective of yourself. And yourself is reacting. So you're putting out certain energy that, you know, it could be completely different if you really truly saw yourself. Like, I don't know. It's really weird. Like, I can see all of these things, and I don't know if I'm making any sense talking about it, but I can really see what it is, like what they mean when they show me about the, it's just, I don't know if I can explain it any better, I swear. It is, like when you're trying to always be something for somebody else, you're not ever being, you're not being you for you. You're being the you think will be okay for somebody else. And so then even when you're seeing yourself, you're looking at yourself, like if you go and you look in the mirror and you are just down on yourself and you are like, you know, like my nose is way too big, and you just go in the mirror and you just are focused on that, then you're not seeing all of the other stuff that other people are seeing, and they're not looking at you going like, oh my gosh, that girl's nose is so big. That is you, because your perspective, your perception, your sensitivity, your insecurity in regards to your nose. So you think everybody is noticing your nose and nobody's noticing your nose. So then you're going around maybe and you're constantly kind of, you know, trying to mask something you're insecure about. And so you're drawing attention to something you're insecure about, which I don't know how, it is weird because it's all so like, it's all so convoluted, you know, and it really is, you know, you just face your demons, you know, let your skeletons out of the closet, you know, how do you do? Nice to meet you. What are you doing here? You know, deal with what it is that they are, you know, holding you back from. Let them go. Let the demons be free out of your closet and release them. And then you start reacting completely different to how, you know, it's just such a natural process. I don't know how to explain it because I think it probably happens a little bit different for every single person. But I know in the process of leaving, you know, leaving your pain and suffering behind and, you know, working on your forgiveness and acceptance, and, you know, a big thing is, you know, realizing that this is destined. You went in to play this part, to go through this experience so you could grow from it. Like, that's the hugest thing. If people could really get that in their mind and quit feeling like they're being punished for something and see like, oh, I came in to do this myself. I came in to play this part because I wanted to learn from this. I wanted to grow from this. It just gives you a completely different look in the day-to-day traumas that you go through. Then, you know, if you're going into it as a victim and life is out to get you and you're just fucked, every single thing has to do with changing your attitude. And everything about changing your attitude has to do with, you know, facing the truth and then releasing what pains you, release the trouble that holds you back. And, you know, and it's a process. It's not like you can just be like, okay, so now I'm over it and I'm, you know, no, it's a process of facing it, facing the demons, facing the hard things that hurt you. And then, you know, once you face them in a rational mind and you can let go of them, then you just naturally start accepting yourself and loving yourself. And you start being more true to yourself. You don't let people, like yesterday, I'm going to fight with my daughter, but I'm going to stand up for myself. I'm going to say, like, look, I'm doing what I want to do. You're trying to tell me how to be. You're trying to tell me that I need to do this or need to do that. And then even, you know, putting in some like slams, like, oh, well, you shouldn't just listen to people on the internet. It's like, do you understand how rude that is to say to somebody? Like, you don't think for yourself? Do you even know what's going on? Or are you just listening to someone on the internet? It's like, man, it's so weird to not be seen. It's so weird to not be seen and not be heard. It's so weird to just, I don't know. So even when you start coming out as your true self, you may not be seen because so many people are still not living their true self. They're still in the struggle. That's the weird thing about this whole awakening, is it's such a process, and everybody's on their own timeline. Everybody's on their own flight plan for this thing. And so, but you just, you know, like I've got to constantly tell myself all the different triggers are for you to process, for you to figure out, like, why is this bothering me? Why does that bother me? And yesterday I sat there all day, like, really trying to think about, like, am I triggered? Am I upset? Am I angry? And I was like, no, I don't care. I mean, she can look at it however she wants. I still will stand up for myself. I'm not going to just sit there and, you know, I feel like I've got a lot more balance with my divine masculine, divine feminine inside of you, you know, because you need the masculine to stand up for yourself. And that has been a struggle of mine the whole time, where I was, it's so funny too, is because this daughter who we've always kind of been, not at odds, but we've definitely gotten in lots of fights ever since she was little. And she was just telling me, or she said it a few times, but, you know, that now she is more in her feminine, and she was kind of trapped in her masculine. So she was kind of just a dick to people all the time, just being a dick all the time. And she said, you know, I was just always in my masculine. I could never put my guard down and be in my feminine. And now that she's together with this guy, she's like, it's just so different, because it's like that side of me is constantly coming out, but people are around me and they're like, okay, weird. Why are you acting like this? And she's like, the other part of me was not my real part. The other part of me was my protective part. And, you know, I was kind of a dick. And to me, I was always in my feminine part, but I was always being taken advantage of. And so then I was always in this part of wanting men to be the masculine part for me. But I wasn't doing it for myself. And you can't rely on somebody else to do it for you, because then they're going to be doing it for themselves, not for you. So they're going to have their best interest in mind. So you can't go into a relationship thinking that person's going to have your best interest in mind. You have to have your best interest in mind. You have to be your protector. You have to be the one setting your boundaries. And that is why there's like so many relationships, so many that are just falling apart with this narcissistic and trauma-based and all this kind of stuff. Any relationship is going to become toxic. You know, there's going to be, the roles are going to be played. There's going to be the narcissist. There's going to be the victim. You know, that's the roles that people are playing out. And then they have to wake up and see that that's a role you're playing. That the role you're playing is so that you can overcome those obstacles, so you can see the truth. And so but the people, when they break up, they just get very stuck, you know, the narcissist and them and their fault and stuff like that. But you have to go in and start seeing your part. And so for me, seeing like that I was really relying on these other people to, you know, protect me and stuff like that, instead of me having to protect myself. Like, I wasn't good at setting boundaries. It made me so uncomfortable to ever stand up for myself. I was so uncomfortable. And so then now I can stand up for myself. But that is one thing that I definitely noticed since the beginning of my awakening, was that one daughter. She is part of my training on my boundaries. She's one that has always pushed me into having to set my boundaries. So she's always been pushing me to have to push back. And, you know, for a long time, I would just take it and just be walked all over and then be frustrated and mad and go and bitch and complain. And then once it was where I start standing up, then it becomes like, don't think it just goes into like natural order all of a sudden perfect. No, because then when you push back, then that person's going to feel pushed. Like anything you do that's outside of your typical toxic behaviors with one another is going to set things out of like, and you got to let that happen. You got to let that occur. And you don't have to try and fix it or force it. You know, just let everybody kind of realign. So just, you know, stand up for yourself and then, you know, don't make it a thing and just move on. If somebody wants to, just, you know, be honest. Like, you know, I got to start standing up for myself. Otherwise, I'm just going around being pissed off and resentful and feeling like a victim all the time. And so I've got to take a risk and say, hey, that's not working for me. No, that's not good. No, you're stepping on my toes, or whatever it is. You don't have to go in and be angry and mad and screaming, yelling. You definitely don't want to go into it and start ridiculing and putting someone else down. That is a very toxic thing that people do. It's like, well, if you're not going to listen to me, well, you're a real asshole, you know? Well, you did, you know, it's like people just go in for the juggler. Like, if you're not going to listen to me, I'm going to just ridicule you and put you down and really tell you what I think about you. It's like, just allow people just to, you know, have their own viewfinder through life. Let them see how they see until they see different, you know. But definitely there is a whole component to this, getting in your balance with your masculine, feminine, and realizing like where you're out of balance. And it is the dark and the light, the masculine, the feminine. It's the both sides of you. And most people have been focused on one side, but you got to pull in and then you got to find the balance. So you got to figure out what is the other side, what is missing out of me. You know, it's that whole thing of like, you've got to be whole in yourself. And I can see that so clearly because I did go around most of my life as being a part of a person and depending on someone else to fill in the gaps. And so then when you go out and you do your healing and then you go out as a whole person, then it is, but you have to go out as a whole confident, you know, because you still have people telling you like what you need to do and how you need to do it and who you need to do it with or whatever. You know, to me, what I hear is that they just don't have the same guidance in them, because anybody who has the same guidance in them, they wouldn't be telling somebody. As one thing that has become so much more clear to me, I don't have any right to tell somebody else how to live their life. They are the ones who have to figure it out, and it's the process. And even if, you know, your process is spending most of your life like in a gutter, and, you know, you're still learning. You're still learning from that. You still have, because it's the soul. Like everybody gets all caught up and you just have like this little life you're learning from. No, you have life after life after life after life. This is one fucking little tiny second. And whatever you're learning here is what you're supposed to learn. So even if it's, you know, by all appearances, this person is just, you know, staying in a gutter their whole entire lives, you don't know what their lesson is. You don't know what they're coming out. You don't even know, like, if they're sitting in that gutter every fucking day so that the people passing them, that they're sending out love to the, like, you don't know what someone's role is on this planet. Just because someone's dirty and lives on the streets doesn't mean they're dirty and something's wrong with them. It is a, you know, everybody has a role and everybody's playing a role. And even the most, you know, skeeziest person that you can imagine is still playing a role that's not just who they are. And, you know, I say you talk about a murderer or something who's, you know, horrible and doesn't care about people and stuff like that. Antisocial, psychotic, just horrible torture murder person. Even that person is playing a role. Even that person still has a good soul. And even if that person is intoxicated by that evil kind of energy, that just binds them to that frequency until they break free from that frequency themselves. So in that frequency, depending on what reality they're in, then that is where, you know, you go in and play out these dark roles. like, to me, just think about people with video games. Like, you have a certain group of people with video games who like to play, like, really dark ones. You have ones that play really scary ones. You have ones that play technically challenging. Some that play, you know, like, there's all different aspects of what it is that somebody needs or is doing in the game. And so it's the same thing in life. You know, there's all different. So, you know, there can be somebody who likes to come in here and play these kind of games and wants to come into this challenging world and play. And maybe they are intoxicated with evil. Maybe they do want to come in and play the bad guy every time. You know, that's soul's thing. And, you know, maybe they go around from reality to reality looking for dark roles to play. Like, I don't know. To me, I'm not intoxicated by the dark. I'm turned off by the dark. I'm, you know, but I mean, some people could see me as dark because I literally laugh at things that some people would find horrible. You know, I see way beyond what they see. Like, when I see some of these people talking about what they're experiencing and stuff, I swear to God, I'll just start cracking up. And I'm not even meaning it in a mean way. But I just see past that. I see the growth. I see the excitement. I see the transformation. I see something beyond what others see. And it's exciting and it's happy. And, you know, people who are all caught up in this world, you can't see beyond, think that this is all tragic and horrible and sad. And it's not. Nobody's really dying. Nobody's really, I mean, yeah, they may be leaving the game, but they're not leaving being alive. This is an illusion. The people leaving are just leaving this reality. They're going into another reality. They're playing a different part somewhere. And it's not something that you need to fear, but this beautiful transformation that is happening, taking us from the shallow to the deep, taking us out of artificial and putting us into natural and freedom. So anyways, I'm excited about, you know, I'm kind of nervous because I'm going to go to the bank today and try and get cash out. And it's just like, because I really need to get like $500 out. I don't even think they'll let you take that much out in one day to begin with. And so, I don't know, I definitely, the stuff that I keep seeing and hearing definitely makes me think, like, this week is going to be impactful. It's going to be super impactful for some people because they're going to be fighting in the streets for their lives. Some people are going to be, you know, trying to not drown, trying to escape fucking horrible shit. So there's going to be a lot going on, and like the banks, all of this stuff. And I've seen more people talking about the McCarthy thing, and it is definitely like how it's set up now for, you know, as soon as he says something wrong or does something wrong, they'll just vote. Like, I don't know. I think there's going to be some crazy shit, whatever's going to go on with that whole thing. There's going to probably be some stuff that's brought up that is going to seem outrageous, that it's stuff that we need to see. So it may not show the whole thing of it, but it's stuff that will be brought up to the surface. Maybe like Agenda 21, and this is what we're voting on. And then it's going to be your responsibility to go in and see, like, what are they arguing about? What are they talking about? What is this agenda talking about? What do they want from us? And so then, whatever, some kind of thing like that, we'll start a big argument, we'll start a vote, and then maybe that's when they're going to put the other guy in, and I don't know, it could go fast, because still there's this thing about the 20th, which of all the dates that I've heard, this one for the 20th for the that date to be the end of the corporation, that would be a date that would be on the books. Like, that would be something that would be in paperwork. So, you know, I would think that's a real date that they're working towards, but, you know, we'll see. We'll just see how this all plays out. I know it's still, I mean, it's so crazy. Even my daughter yesterday, she said something about the money or something, and I said, oh, no, that's happening. It's crashing. You said that last week. It's like, God, you guys, you got to quit thinking, because I said something last week and it didn't happen on the weekend. It's not fucking, that means it's not happening. It's like, how many fucking times? Well, you've been saying this stuff for years. Yes, but I'm watching, and it is still happening. It's been in motion this whole motherfucking time. And it's like, start motherfucking paying attention. And then she was like, well, I only pay attention to what's going on, like, right out here. Well, I said, well, I don't. I listen to what's going on with everybody. I listen to what people are talking about. I listen to what people are saying in their reality. And yeah, there's ATMs running out of money all over the place. They've been pulling the cash out of circulation for years. The cash is running out of circulation. Everything is their online currency because it's all a fucking laundry game. They just move numbers around. It's not like they're really moving money. I think it's going to be very different when people see when we actually go on to a currency that is gold-based, gold-backed. And even if you are bartering or trading, or you have silver, like I have silver, it's not going to be in the quantum financial system. It's going to be, my own rocks that I would be carrying around, or however, I do it. That is going to be up to each person to figure out. Like, things are going to be changing about how we interact and stuff about money. It's not going to be like the same restrictive thing. So, like, you could set up a thing with your friends. You could set up a farm thing. Like, you set up just trading and stuff like that. There's no reason that you even have to do everything on cash based. But the whole cash system is going to be gone. And that whole thing is going to be, and even if like for me, even if I had silver, I wouldn't just go out and say, hey, I want to buy that. Here's a piece of my silver. Because the silver is going to be going way up and stuff. So I wouldn't go out and just start using my silver like coins or something. Like, it's going to be different. Like, you would, I don't know how it's all going to go. I think that there's going to be, guidance. That's why I think, Trump's going to be coming back in is going to be kind of guiding to kind of get us going in a certain direction. And then there'll be a lot of community leaders and stuff like that. There's already people who are filling in that role, that came in to play that role. And they're already in communities, setting their foundation. And the people who listen to themselves, their own guidance and stuff, then they're going to be directed into the roles they're supposed to play. And the other people are just focusing on whatever scares them, it seems. But so there's going to be people who are going to be stepping into roles and helping people understand, all the stuff about money. I think they'll probably, who knows, the quantum system is even going to be kind of complex, I think, for some people. So, that could be part of disclosure, of trying to help people understand about the money and thing. But something with the quantum thing, there's not going to be bankers. You're going to be in charge of your own thing. And I'm not sure how much, if everybody's going to get like a loaded amount in their account or something. I know that there's going to be tons and tons. I've heard from the beginning how they're going to put money back into giving to the people, is giving to communities and stuff. And so giving to building communities. That's why I feel so certain that it's going to be homestead and house kits or wood or whatever. Because there's a lot of people who wouldn't even know how to go out and build a house. Like, but then the guys who do, see, they've got a good job right there. Because you have all these people who want to build their own houses, who are going to be hiring people to do it. So, that's what I'm saying. If you have certain skills, there's going to be certain skills that are going to be very used at certain times. And even if you are a builder and you know how to build and people want to help you, then you get to decide like what it is that you want for payment. Maybe you want to help a farmer and then you have food forever or something like that. I don't know. That's going to be each person having to develop their own way in the world. That's the freedom behind it. When you just go back to like the cowboy days and stuff like that and think about how things that people did before the banking system took over and started telling us how to do things. was a lot more versatile, a lot more free. But something with the quantum one is going to be, the quantum one is something with your whole, I think your genetic imprint or something. Something you can only recognize you. And it's going to be something about our money. It's going to be everything. So I don't know. I know, and I don't know how soon it's all going to go down. Like as soon as the bank thing goes and they go to the quantum system, but that's going to be attached to all the other stuff, because the quantum system is also with the quantum voting system, which is some sort of blockchain voting thing that can't be interfered with. So that's going to be unveiled when there's going to be a lot of things that will be unveiled kind of with the quantum thing that will kind of like the veins of it kind of. So, you know, to me, everything's just going to keep going slow, 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 slow. It's like, I would think that there's going to be a dramatic thing that's going to happen. And hopefully things are going to speed up then. But even when they speed up, I think it's going to be, you know, some chaos. When things start going faster, hopefully if they do, that it's going to be really chaotic. That energy is going to be chaotic, and then maybe it will kind of slow down. I don't know. This will be interesting to see, but I still think we're super close. I still think that we're really close for some big thing to take us the other direction. So stay strong and stay safe, and hopefully I wasn't too rambly. It's just some of the things, like, man, it's hard to explain them, and I can see it so clearly, but then I start saying it, it's like, man, it's really hard to get the words to express what you see. But man, I just know everybody's life can change. They start connecting to their spiritual side. Like, and you don't have to fit in with anybody else. You just have to figure out who you are. And that's the gift of this life. So anyways, it's the pathway to self, and it's the gift that you get to unwrap throughout this life. So don't be hard on yourself, or don't rush it. Just get to know who you are and figure out who you are, and then be proud of yourself for all the work you put into it. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.